Hello everyone, welcome back to Totally Awesome History News, where we look at historical subjects that have made the news or are related to news stories. A lot of people love dancing, especially girls, and a lot of popular modern songs are about just that, dancing. But what if you couldn't stop? Thing is, throughout the Middle Ages in Europe, there was a curious phenomenon known as the dancing disease, where people would start dancing and just couldn't stop for days or weeks until they finally collapsed from exhaustion. From the 7th to the 17th century, these strange epidemics would pop up from time to time, but it was in 1518 in the city of Strasbourg that one of the largest and most famous of these dance crazes exploded. It's also something that is the topic of an article in The Guardian by Professor John Waller, since this summer marks the 500th anniversary of it. I'll include the link below. It all started in July of that year when a woman named Frau Tapia stepped into the streets and just started dancing. Within a week, 34 people had joined her, and within a month, 400 people were dancing. After ruling out astrological and supernatural causes, doctors at the time decided that it was caused by hot blood, the same excuse that far too many these days use for their anger management issues. But that was not the case here. However much they wanted to stop, they couldn't, sometimes screaming or begging for mercy. And this wasn't just twitching or doing the teapot. This was full-on dancing. The authorities decided that the best prescription for this was more dancing. They cleared the market, opened the guild halls, and hired pipers and drummers to play, while strongmen would hold up those who were about to collapse. This did not work. In fact, it only caused more people to join in. #RaveFromHell. Eventually, as people started dying, authorities realized that they needed to do something else. So they sent the afflicted to a mountaintop shrine of Saint Vitus, the patron saint of dancers and entertainers in general. Actually, a lot of people thought that uncontrollable dancing was caused by Saint Vitus being cross with them and cursing them, a phenomenon especially known in the Rhine region at the time. Once they were there, their bloodied feet were placed into red shoes, and they were led around a carving of Saint Vitus, the Virgin Mary, and Pope Marcellus. Thankfully, over the next few weeks, the dancing stopped. There's been a lot of debate over the years as to what actually caused this. From ergot poisoning, which induces effects similar to LSD in those who are poisoned by it, to famine, to mass hysteria. But the only thing that hasn't been proposed yet, is ancient aliens. And simply put, mass hysteria is the hypothesis that John Waller, author of the article and author of A Time to Dance, A Time to Die, the extraordinary story of the dancing plague of 1518, makes. He makes the case since the inhabitants of Strasbourg lived in a culture that was overly superstitious, and since there were stressors during this period, such as bad harvests, syphilis, leprosy, and the plague, that made life particularly dreadful, it all had the effect of making them more susceptible to the power of suggestion. The suggestion being that they had been cursed by Saint Vitus. These dancing epidemics eventually petered out by the mid-1600s, along with, as Waller points out, the culture of supernaturalism that sustained them. If Waller is right, then it speaks to the capacity of the human mind to enter into altered states of consciousness en masse, and involuntarily at that. It's actually quite scary when you think of it. If he's wrong, then we have a genuine mystery on our hands. So with all this in mind, next time you're out dancing at the club, just stop every once in a while, just to make sure you can. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you liked this, please do like, share, and subscribe. Also join us on social media, and if you do feel so inclined, please leave a tip in the tip jar or become a patron on Patreon. Until next time.